So it was generally started about 10 years ago. I had a daughter in South Africa that was going to come to New Zealand in December 2010, and she was going to come and do volunteer work for the SPCA, and she was adamant to do a little bit of rescue on the side. So we all got geared up for that and waiting. But then tragically on May the 24th, 2010, she was killed in a car accident, which changed our lives. All our lives changed. Nothing's the same. I was in no position to go back to work. So after the initial heartache has subsided a bit, we decided to do a little bit of to look after animals. First of all for money, so that we can survive as a family, because I couldn't go back to work. But then also do a little bit of saving of animals, because when we came to New Zealand, we're from a country that is so badly high on the rankings with animal abuse, and you drive in the streets and you see dead animals and dead dogs. So come to New Zealand, you don't see that, and we thought, hallelujah, we're in utopia. This is a country that must be so far forward with good things about animals. So we thought, we'll find one or two animals that's abused. But of course, we had no idea. We started off 10 years ago, which is in about September 2010, and it just snowballed. The minute we started working with these animals and the people, and the bigger we became, the more it became apparent that there is so much going on in this country. People don't know, and it's all hidden, because you don't see dead dogs in the street. So people are like, oh, good country. Unfortunately, New Zealand doesn't take care of its animals. We are let down by the law. We are let down by public legislations. There's so much things. So I just thought I'll do my part, and every animal that I save, I do in honor of my late daughter. Her name was Maran, and we celebrated 10 years 2 days ago, which marked us as a rescue. So it's heartfelt, it's passionate. We don't say no to anything, whether it be a pigeon, a possum, a hedgehog, a dog, a cat, anything that needs saving. And then it's all in honor of my daughter that wanted to do this. It just got bigger. The passion is there, but it has become a whole life mission, because it is not small like we thought. So it's not like we've got 3 dogs, 2 cats, and we've saved New Zealand, which we thought was going to be the case. So we are now a full-fledged charitable trust that works in conjunction with the SPCA and with our local councils, although we don't always see eye to eye. But that's how we started 10 years ago, and now we are massive. We're bursting at the seams. We work really well with other rescues. We've got Bay of Islands that we work really well with. We take a lot of the overflow. So it's stretched far and wide. It's not Auckland. It's almost New Zealand wide, and it's getting bigger by the day. So heartfelt, really. Oh, there's so many. First of all, I think the biggest welfare problem that we suffer now is the fact that government, which sends the SPCA and also the local pounds, doesn't do their job. It's almost left to us on ground floor to pick up the pieces. There is a minimal standard that you have to adhere to. So when an SPCA gets a call out to a property, so the neighbour calls, see this poor dog in the rain 24/7, call the pound. The pound usually says call the SPCA. First of all, you wait a long time. They're very short-staffed, they're underfunded. Well, so they say. They do have millions to play with. They will get there, they will assess it from the gate. So if the owners are not there, they will leave a note and they'll come back, which means another 2 days have gone past for the same dog to sit outside in the rain. So by the time SPCA gets their foot in the door, the dog is not skinny, he gets fed, but he sits there, he's cold, he's got some sort of a plastic container, even if they don't sleep in that container. Now, when they adhere to the minimal standards, that is okay for SPCA. And that sees a lot of dogs in very poor, neglected stage. You drive down Clifton Park. I've been down that road so many times where SPCA has been, and I look at a dog and I'm like, oh my God, this dog is emaciated. And then SPCA is there. I have personal experience of animals in my care. I had Archie and Zayda. These guys were on the SPCA radar for 3 months. These dogs lived under SPCA watch eye for 3 months. By the time I got them, they were nearly dead. They were thin, they were starving, they were just in such bad shape. I think the welfare problem is that the older generation has got a thing in their head of how to act with dogs, and our councils and our SPCA that's supposed to look after these people and these animals and educate, the gap is there because SPCA doesn't do the due diligence, shall I say. You make a phone call, they ask a lot of questions, they take their time to go out. People's perception is also to eradicate problems. Jumping from dogs, chain dogs is one of our biggest problems in Auckland at this stage. Chain dogs, the guy's got a dog chained to a fence to look after his property. No, the total disregard for the animal's safety, for his well-being. They don't care. The dog there gets food, it's got some sort of a green bucket of water, that is enough. The other problem is cats. People just want to get rid of cats. You get people that's bird watchers and bird lovers, they now want to kill all the cats. Then there's people that feed cat colonies. So you've got these two people. This lady is feeding a cat colony for the last 20 years. These cats have bred and bred and bred, and there's like 500 in the colony. It's crazy. We've appealed to the SPCA and said, please help us with TNR because the SPCA is so short-staffed, we can do this. But they don't, so we have to rely on ourselves. Cat Coalition is great. They do help us with a lot of funding to de-sex cats so that they don't breed any further, which will leave you with a colony that's been fed by the lovely lady from down the road, but then the horrible man up the road hates cats because he just doesn't want them on his property. So he starts killing them. This old lady is trying to collect all these cats. So you've got neighbors not working together. And in the meantime, the animals suffer. And again, there's nobody to step in and say, listen, let's educate. Let's educate the guy that doesn't like the animals to do something so that the animals doesn't go onto his yard. So there's a total lack of communication between the good guys and the bad guys. And unfortunately, the good guys think that they can rely on the pound, they can rely on the SPCA. Unfortunately, with SPCA being understaffed, underfunded, the onus falls on us. I'm in Dairy Flat. I get calls out for Auckland South, which is 45 kilometers from here. I trap cats there. I've trapped two colonies once. It took me almost 40 days to get all these cats. You get there, then you trap the neighbor's cats. You get there, you've got a hedgehog which set up the trap. I mean, we only have a certain amount of cages. So again, the welfare problem is really ours. It's not the SPCA's, because the SPCA should have really gone in there with 20 cages, trap these cats, neuter them, find a new colony, because that's what we do. We put them up for adoption. The horrible thing is we sometimes do take cats that's got a zero chance in hell to get tamed enough for a home. But then we foster them out as barn cats. I live up the road. I've got 4 barn cats. They keep the barn clear of mice. They live in harmony together. The barn is a good safe haven for them. But people do not do that. They just want to eradicate. I have got this on good authority, where a lady in Coatesville has called me a number of times to come and help her capture 17 cats that was on her property. She moved into the property, started feeding them, they became more. By the time she realized she did the wrong thing, she called the SPCA. SPCA said, gave her 2 phone numbers of, and I've got this on record, of pest control. She calls the pest control guy, and the pest control guy says, yeah, sure, no, we can do this. And then she said, well, how much will it cost me? And he said to her, well, do you have like a river or a lake close by? And she said, no, why? He said, because if we drown them there for you, it's cheaper. But if I'm going to have to poison them, you'll have to pay for the poison. And this lady was horrified. So I've got her written testimony, and she's happy to come on camera and say, because she's an elderly lady, and she was horrified. She eventually called me, she says, are they allowed to do that? And I said, no, they're not. But then she had it on recording where she called the 0800 number from SPCA, and SPCA said, well, call these exterminators. So there's the people that's supposed to help us, the people that we look up. As a child, I used to look up to the police, I used to look up to the SPCA. Those were golden names. Now you look up, and the elder generation is like, oh, SPCA, have you seen them on TV? You know, nice little grey cat, got to call the SPCA, you know, the SPCA is going to come in with a cavalry. They don't. They don't. They give you the phone number of a pest control guy. And then who did they call? They call us. We've got jobs, we've got kids, we work 24/7, at nighttime, daytime, we drive out. We are maxed out, financially staring ruins in the face, just to try and save what we can. Why? Because the guys up there doesn't help. So the problems we're gonna have and face is gonna go on and on and on until they say you have to have your dog de-sexed, and they bring in de-sexing as compulsory. Up until that law, nothing much is going to happen. They will just breed, and not even breed. Your dog can run around the street, and the only thing that you can do is, they call the pound, you get a slap on the wrist, you pay the council registration fee, you pay for the 3 days that your dog was in the pound, your dog's back home. And then the law is not staunch enough. Unfortunately, we do have a law that if you get caught with a serious animal abuse, the worst thing that you can get is you're not allowed to have an animal for 3 years. And I always say that an animal abuser do not change. You're not going to change in 3 years. And then, of course, there's not enough policing. Same guy gets another dog 6 months down the track. Nobody knows that. He beats the dog to death, becomes news, and then it says, oh, but this guy was actually supposed to not have a dog. Well, welcome, you know. There should be a register. It should be like a child sex offenders register. There should be an animal abuse register. Not blasted around so that the neighbors can see, but put it on the books for people like us. You want to adopt a dog from me? Oh, hang on a minute, quickly check. Oh my God, you're on the database. Not getting an animal from me, sorry. Same with the SPCA. Before SPCA just gives a dog out for an adoption, we do yard inspections. I call their vets and say, oh, you know, so-and-so, have they had a dog before, how were they? So do a little bit more investigation, but if we could have a register that has all these animal abusers on, that said he's not allowed to have it for 3 years, then of course it makes it so much easier. And even if he's there and he's done his 3 years of not having a dog, there's no way I'm going to give him a dog. Makes it a little bit easier to say no to certain people, if we could have that. And of course we're hoping that you guys that's working so well with all that you're up to is going to give us one of those registers one of these days. Write it up, enforce it, have it in place, do it for us. Oh, solutions is money. The other solutions is get the SPCA to work with us, you know, not against us. There is an unwritten rule between SPCA and smaller rescuers, they just hate one another. The one doesn't have any good thing to say about the other one. The majority of our small rescues work well together with SPCA, with our pounds. I've got a really good thing with my pound. If I pick up a dog, I can take a photo, send it through. The majority of rescues do not work well with local government, and it's unfortunate because the gap's getting bigger, but they do need something just for rescue. So money, and it's horrible as it sounds, money is the solution. We all need money, money for different kinds of things. Petrol money when you drive in the middle of the night to God knows where for animal abuse. Building little houses for these chain dogs. Christine Breen from Chain Dog Awareness at this stage, out of her own pocket, is building kennels out of her own money. We as a small organization did not have money to become a charitable trust. You have to have somebody that writes up constitution. Thank the good Lord we got somebody like Julie Chapman from Pet Refuge, amazing woman. She came to us and said, guys, you need to become a charitable trust. And we said, we don't know how to, and we don't have the money for the lawyers to do this. And Julie jumped into action. And in 3 weeks' time, we had our constitution written up. She sat at night time. She did it with a registered charitable trust. Other small rescues don't have that. They must make it easier and they must make it more accessible for these people to become a registered charitable trust so that they can get government funding. I'm not talking millions, but help with vet bills. And that's the major, is vet bills and also resources, trucks, trailers, cat traps, little bit of things that's going to make life easier for us. It's all in the end is for animal welfare. SPCA should really step up and help us. We must be on a speed dial from SPCA. SPCA shouldn't give us the 0800 number. We must have direct phone numbers, not to the crew, to the captain of the ship, because we're doing partly their jobs as well. And that's what we need. Open lines, open communication. There must be a public forum that once a month all these rescues gets together with the SPCA and talk and say, this is what we need. And SPCA say, okay, I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to go away, I'm going to speak to the powers that be and make things happen. I've been in talks with the SPCA for a long time. There was one stage that I got $800 worth of vouchers for desexing. That was a very long time ago. And that was to desex cats. Not enough, not enough. We need the guys in the middle to go to complain, and these guys go back and they come back to the table next month with solutions. At this stage, it's just talk, talk, talk. Go away, nothing happens. Talk, 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 nothing happens. We need people to step up and push these guys to come up with solutions as well. And that's really it.